I'm going to compare your swing to Grant Wade, who was a tour player during the 90s and considered having one of the best swings in golf. He's now one of the top instructors for tour players. I always try to start at the impact positions when I do video analysis. Impact is the most important position of the golf swing. Everything the golf ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, how much it curves, is all determined by the club's position at the moment of impact. And the club's position is determined by the body's position at impact. And everything you do prior to impact has the sole purpose of arriving at a fundamentally sound impact position. Now let's look at some of the important fundamentals of impact. In order to hit a ball on the ground consistently solid so you maximize your ball speed, you must hit down on the ball and hit the ball before you hit the ground. This requires you to have the low point of your swing in front of the golf ball. This picture illustrates how the pros hit down on the golf ball. This particular player was hitting a series of balls that were on the white line, and you can see how every divot is in front of the line. In order to place the low point in front of the ball, you must do two main things. First, you must have the majority of your weight on the left side at the moment of impact. The average pro will have about 85% of their weight on their left foot at impact. I've drawn a red box from the base of the ankles to the top of the head. And if we look at Grant, we can see how that red line coming off his left foot is passing right through his belt buckle. So he clearly has a large majority of his weight on his left side at the moment of impact. You also have a little bit more weight on your left side than your right side. I can see from the back leg that it's pushing towards the left leg. You are not quite as far on your left side as Grant is. You can see your head position is closer to the back of the box. Your head is closer to your back foot than it is your front foot. Grant's head is almost on top of his left foot at impact, and he has his hips and his shoulder beyond the foot. So he's really pressing hard into that left side. That will make it much easier for him to have his low point in front of the golf ball so that he can hit down. Because Grant is a little bit more forward in his weight at impact than you are, he's going to have a little bit more downward angle of attack, which allows him to hit the golf ball first and compress the ball a little bit better. If you're not quite as far forward as you need to be, you're going to come in a little bit more shallow into the golf ball, and this can cause you to hit behind the ball sometimes or hit it thin and not compress the ball as well as you would like. Another important feature of having your weight more forward, it makes it much easier to have the proper swing path where you're swinging out on the ball a little bit better, not cutting across the ball. So the more forward you can get your weight, the easier it is to have a swing path that goes out to the right a little bit so that you can hit a draw if that's what you're aiming to do, and have a little bit better and more efficient contact with the golf ball. Another important fundamental of the seventh position, the impact position, is to have a nice extension in this left arm, and you do. That's a very good position right there. Also, you have your hands in front of the golf ball, and you have a little bit of a shaft lean as you make impact, so that's very good. So you've got some really solid fundamentals in the impact position. Just might want to move your weight slightly more forward at impact. Now let's look at the other positions prior to impact and see what influence they have on your impact position. At the setup, you're balanced pretty well between both feet. Your posture looks pretty good. Grant has a little bit more weight on his left side at impact. He's almost in a little, at the start of the swing, he's almost in a little mini impact position. You're sitting back into your right leg a little bit more than he is, and that can be problematic when it comes to getting to the left side at impact. Your left arm is in a really good position here. You've got a nice extension, and your hands are in front of the golf ball, so you already have a shaft lean, so that's very good. One of the things you might consider tweaking a little bit in your setup is flaring your toes out a little bit. Doesn't have to be to the same extent that Grant has done it, particularly in the left foot. If you would turn that foot out just a little bit, that will assist in shifting your weight to the left side on your downswing. Here we are in the 3 position. This is when the left arm is parallel to the ground in the backswing. Grant has maintained his weight on his left side and he's rotating around his left leg. He has not rocked to the right or leaned to the right, which would have moved his golf circle behind the golf ball, would have moved his low point behind the golf ball, and that makes it more difficult to get the low point in front of the golf ball at impact. You have moved a little bit to the right in your backswing, and so your low point of your golf swing is now behind the golf ball, which is going to add a complexity to your golf swing. So now you're going to have to get the golf circle back up to your left side and get that low point in front of the golf ball, which will be difficult to do when you've moved it so far back. You do have a nice extension in your left arm in the 3 position. I like that. Grant has hinged his wrist a little bit more than you have, but you still have a good wrist hinge in your backswing there. Here we are at the top of the backswing, the 4 position, and you've slightly broken that left arm, but it's not excessive. Grant is almost pressing down into his left leg as he rotates around to the top of the backswing. So he's almost like a field goal kicker, planting this left leg and flexing it downward, getting ready to kick. So he's really using his leg power and pressing the ground with that left side. Then he'll use that for power when he hits the golf ball. This is the 5 position. This is the first move in the downswing. You can see how Grant is really driving towards the target. He's really moving on top of that left foot. Even at this point, that line is almost going through his belt buckle. So he's really pressing down into that left leg, and he's sitting down, and that belt buckle is just right on top of his left foot. You're kind of sliding a little bit, but not near to the extent that Grant is. Also, when Grant makes this move, it allows him to delay unhinging the wrist. You can see how the shaft of his club is still angled quite a bit back off his left arm, and you have cast your club out a little bit. So you've already spent some of the energy of your golf swing. Instead of saving it and waiting for impact, you've already started to unhinge your wrist a little bit too early. And once you learn how to properly move your weight into that left leg, that will help you delay this hit and keep that stored energy in your hands and use it to unload into the golf ball. This is the 8th position post-impact. I really like your position here. There's hardly any difference between you and Grant here. This is a good example of how solid your fundamentals are in your golf swing. Your foundation of fundamentals is so good that it wouldn't take much to make you have an excellent, consistent, elite ball flight. Here on the final position, you're in that classic pose, solid on your left side, back foot off the ground, the tip of the toe facing the target, eyes looking over your right arm. This is a very good golf swing. In closing, I would go very slowly in changes, but there are a couple little things that you could work on to make your ball striking a little bit more consistent. And the key would be to stabilize your golf circle and not have so much movement to the right in your backswing. If we can just get you stabilizing on the left side a little bit better, that'll reduce the complexity of your golf swing and allow you to control it and control your low point much more consistently. And that'll be key to you for right now.